It's 94.3 WYBC. I'm Darryl Huckaby on a special edition of the Electric Drum. You know, a special edition means we have a special guest, and this is a very special guest. I would like to say world renowned. You hear her voice every morning. She's been part of the WYBC family for 2 years now. We're actually celebrating 2 years in the market, and that would be DeDe McGuire, aka DeDe In The Morning. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Doing great. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
Unbelievable. It's like this past 2 years are all meshed together. I can't. I'm losing track of time, and everything just kind of, blends in with each other. But yeah, 2 years.
I know it. I feel like we just celebrated 2020 last year. I mean, it was like we had 2 years of 2020, right?
Going on 3.
Yeah, for real. It's crazy.
A trifecta. So when you started here in the market in New Haven, we didn't have the pandemic, and life was completely different. And who knew, like, within a month and a half of you launching that, COVID would come about and completely just change the course of everything that we know and love as tradition.
Mm-hmm. I have to just say this, Darryl. It's, it was disappointing because, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's excited. You know what I mean? We were all excited. Yay. I was happy to be on the station, ready to just, you know what I mean? Get out and meet the listeners and really mingle and really, just, embrace, New Haven, Connecticut, everything. Right. And then all of a sudden this thing, and it just, I don't know, but we made it. The only thing I can tell you, right? Look, thank God we made it, though, huh?
Look, we're still here. We're still here. Yep. As a matter of fact, we had an event planned for June of 2020 for you to come on up, and obviously that was canceled, and we haven't been able to do anything since. So hopefully in 2022, these numbers will die down a little bit, and we'll be able to, get back to some sort of normalcy. Because I don't know about you, DeDe, but I miss kind of being in the public and mixing and mingling with the listeners and our supporters every day.
Yeah, I agree. That's what makes our job so much fun. And people don't realize that. It's the way that we can impact and touch people and touch our listeners. And one of the things is, you feel so removed, when we're on the radio, we still feel so removed from our listeners. We love going into the community and talking and meeting and hugging and laughing and just, being family. I miss that a lot.
And, as a station here in New Haven, one of our slogans is in the community 24/7, 365. And it's still our slogan, but we haven't been able to actually, do that over the last couple of years. So I know what you mean by missing the people. So let's talk about the show, because it's grown and evolved over the last 2 years. And you're in more markets. So I'm excited about your growth and popularity across the country. But let's talk about.
Hold on. I don't know what that is. Something is beeping.
That's okay. This is radio. That's how we do. Again, this is the Electric Drum. We're talking to DeDe In The Morning, not on a weekday morning, but on a Sunday night. We're celebrating 2 years of her being in the market here at WYBC in New Haven in the Connecticut area. And we're excited about the 2 years, more so excited about, what's lined up for the future. So the show, first of all, you've been in radio how long? Because, some people may have missed our first conversation, which I think is over a year ago. I don't even know when that was, but you've been in radio for how long?
If I tell you, I have to give up my age, and no woman ever gives up her age. Say this, over 10 years.
You started at 5.
Yes, there you go. There you go. So I always tell people it's been over 10, 15 years. I'll end it at that.
And you've been syndicated for how long now?
3.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It'll be 4 years in July, August, I guess, of this summer. It'll be 4 years. Yeah.
And talk about the growth of going from a local show to being syndicated across the country.
The one thing I can tell you, Darryl, it's a dream come true. There are times when I've got to pinch myself, right? Because it is a dream. I was a co-host on a national show years ago and watched him and what he did. And Doug Banks, the great legendary Doug Banks that I worked with. And I watched him and I watched his success and I watched it grow. And I kept going, one day I want to do that. One day I want to do it. And then I made myself a vision board and I put up there, syndicated in 500 stations. And I put that on my vision board about 8 years ago. And so for this to happen that's when I say it is really a dream come true. And I'm very blessed, very, very blessed and thankful.
Now you didn't always start. Well, you didn't start in communications, did you? Or your whole adult life, your career has been in communications?
Yes, it has. I got to be honest. I had issues with college. I had no money, my financial aid. I didn't fill it out right. And my college said, well, you don't have any financial aid after semester 1. They were like, you got to get out until your financial aid come in. You got to wait till that happens, right? So at that point, I just went back home to Killeen, Fort Hood and worked at a country radio station and then been in radio ever since. And I was 20 at the time, 19.
Okay.
Yep.
5 or 6, right?
There it is, 5, 6. There it is.
Now, it's funny because you mentioned something that's, I think, real important for a lot of people. When you want to do something, one, you have to think it in your mind. And then 2, you got to put it out there in the universe and write it down and speak it into existence. And yes. I remember, similar to you, I started off as an accountant and we talked about this before, yes. But I was in DC listening to radio and listening to Donnie Simpson in the morning way back in the day. And I was like, man, I want to be on radio. I could do that. I could do that. Now, who knew, that it would actually come to fruition? But if you speak it and think it and act upon it enough, then, it happens. And I think that's a message for everybody that listens to you every day.
You know what it is? You said something that I often tell people, and that is this: focus on what you want. Right? Mm-hmm. Everybody can tell you what they don't want, but not many people can tell you what they do want. And I had to really realize what is that. Every year at the beginning of the year, I write down goals. I have personal goals and I have, professional goals. And there are certain things every year that I say I'm going to tackle or want to accomplish or whatever that is. But I'm very clear about what I want. I'm clear about it because every year I write it down. I got to think, what is it that I do want? People will tell you what they don't. Right. And the one thing you just said, because I watched this and I read this book, I watched The Secret years ago. Yep. And I continuously read a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Mm-hmm. And it talks about focusing on that and visualizing and seeing it and seeing yourself receiving it and all that. So I am that person who always sees that and believes that, but also believe in giving thanks to, because that's the other part of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk about the show and the cast of characters now. The personalities. The show is growing. The show is definitely growing. And as the show grows and as we get more more stations and different cities that we're on, and, the show has to rise up to a certain level. I mean, Darryl, the one thing about syndication, there was a long time when it first came out, people were upset and they were angry. They felt we were taking people's jobs or locally. And one of the things that I keep saying about that part of it is that when that happens or when you feel bad, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's always something you're like, gosh, I hate that. Right. But one of the things I've had to tell our team is this: then we all have to elevate, because it's unfair to anyone to lose their position or be moved or shifted because of our show and we not be up to par, we not be great, we not raise our level of expectations and raise our level of professionalism and try to raise our greatness. We have to, right? Because I feel like that would be in vain. That wouldn't be fair to take someone's position or have them move or whatever to bring us on. We got to be great. We got to be great. Yeah. So talk about some of your co-hosts. You have a nice team developed now. You have JJ, which is a comedian, Lady Jade, who you've been working with for a while now. And then Jay Cruz, who just joined the team. I like the chemistry that you guys have put together. So tell everybody, what's Lady Jade like? Lady Jade is a firecracker. That's the first thing I can tell you. Okay. Like, outside of aesthetics, it's outside of that, she's the most beautiful woman. Like, honestly, when I first started working with Lady Jade, I thought she was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. I like in person. Mm-hmm. You guys would have to meet and see her in person. These beautiful teeth, dimples, and a smile. Like but she is not, let me just put it this way. Do not let the good looks fool you. Right?
I can tell.
She's feisty. She's smart. You know what I mean? And it's been fun to work with her, and it's been fun to watch her become the woman that she's becoming. Like
Bro,
she's not
yeah.
even, what we're seeing is not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Lady J. And I'm really, really proud of her. So she's fun. She's on point, but don't play with her.
I can tell she's not to be played with. And then you have some laughter being brought in by comedian JJ Williamson.
Now, when he says he's the best kept secret in comedy, he's not joking. First time I saw JJ Williamson was about 4 years ago. He was on a comedy show that I put on, and somebody said, you got to get him, to be on stage. So it's about 4 years ago. I got a chance to see him. I laughed so hard. I couldn't believe it. And I started watching him, when the pandemic hit, I started watching him online because, everybody was at home and I was watching his Instagram feed and I would go on live with him and he was so hilarious. And I would just type certain things at him, just say certain things, and how he responded was what I loved. And so when we had an opening on the show, I told our producer, Gary, I said, see if you could find this guy, see if he'll be interested in just filling in.
Right.
And JJ filled in and it was so much fun. It was instant. He is really funny and a fool, always in a great mood. Always. He walks in every single day, happy, dancing, funny, telling jokes all day, every day. Yes.
I can tell. It's hard to imagine him in a bad mood.
Never. I've not seen it yet.
And then you have the newest member of the team, Jay Cruz.
Yeah. Now, Jay Cruz, I've known of Jay Cruz for a while. I had listened to him on another show and I thought he was so good. I thought that he just came out. He came out of the radio. He stood out on this show that I heard, and we were looking to add to the show. And so it was just a no-brainer to grab him. And so my producer, Gary, and we got a chance to sit down with him and we were like, this is the guy. This is the guy. He's really a professional, great guy.
Awesome. And you guys, again, have a lot of chemistry in the shows through the microphones every morning. So that's always good. Now, you have a lot of features, and people in here in Connecticut and New Haven love the features. Obviously, they love the money. $1,000 minute game is a hit. Anytime you give away money, people are going to receive that. Right. But you have some other unique features, I call them, because they're not traditional, but they're funny, they're entertaining, and they're engaging. So you have the Mad Minute prank call.
Oh my gosh, the Mad Minute prank call. Can I tell you guys, we have that is our most popular. People really don't understand it. It is the most popular feature. People call all the time wanting to get a family member mad or a coworker. We have to edit those like crazy. Okay. I just want everyone to know we have to. Some of the stuff that is said, you guys, it is hilarious, but we got to edit them.
I can only imagine. And even the date fails, you probably have to edit from time to time.
Oh, yeah, because these couples, some of these people that get on there, you can tell that they were not expecting to be confronted on the radio. Right. So we got to cut out a lot of that, too, so that you don't hear that and that we could actually not get fined and that we can play it and not get too many calls, of angry listeners. Right.
And then, in addition to the humor, you bring, what I call substantial value in money management. So you have Ash Cash, that is a great feature. A lot of people, including me, pick up tips every week when you have him on. You have the attorney on.
Kathy Middleton with the child support. Do you know that? I mean, as soon as I say Kathy Middleton's coming on, the phones light up. Yeah. I mean, they stay lit up, and it's great free legal advice. And this woman, if you DM her, you follow her, she will give you that advice. And a lot of people need it because, hiring an attorney, just a retaining fee or something like that they charge is crazy. But this woman's giving out free advice on the radio. Very, very, very blessed and happy that we found her, for real.
And we get calls all the time. Like, who's that attorney? What's her name? How can we get in contact? So, yeah. And then you have every Thursday, you highlight a Black business throughout the country. And that's, I think, important. I always, I'm a big fan of supporting Black businesses and making sure that they thrive. So that's a great feature you have as well.
Do you want to hear something, Darryl? Both of those features you talked about, from Ash Cash with our Money Making Monday to our small and Black-owned business spotlight, they all came about after the pandemic. So as we talk about us celebrating 2 years, with you guys, it's the fact that we started in, what was that, like January, right? Yeah. And then the pandemic hit. But when the pandemic hit, financially, a lot of people got hit financially. Businesses, certainly local businesses started, suffering. Black businesses suffered the most, right? And so we had to look at that differently and go, wait a minute. You know what? This is something this show has got to do from here going forward. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. It is what we just need to do so that we can always support local, support each other, and get our money right. We got to get, because that pandemic financially, some people could save money, right? So a lot of people said, well, I didn't go out, I could save money. But some people lost their jobs. Some people recognized how unstable or how not in control we may be, right?
Yeah.
Jobs where people were being furloughed, jobs were shutting down. So financially, they said, well, you need to have this much money in the bank. And then you started realizing, oops, I do.
I think it was a wake up call for a lot of people in that, if you only have one stream of income, and I was caught out there years ago, and that was my wake up call. And I vowed never to be in that position again, all your eggs in one basket. But, a lot of people, I think, are woke now when it comes to financial literacy and protecting themselves and not just putting their eggs in one basket. So, out of everything bad comes something good. There's always a lot of negative, but there's always some good things that come out of it. And I think over the last couple of years, a lot of good things have come about.
Yep. And it's certainly, like I said, that's the beauty of what happened to our show, what we were able to do. And putting the spotlight on the small and Black owned businesses around the country has been huge. And we encourage everybody. And we know that, we have so many, right? We have so many people that are applying, but we're doing our best, and we're trying to figure out coming up if it's going to be situations where we're also going to highlight people on the air and also on the websites and stuff, because there are so many small businesses that need help. And it's about, one of the things we didn't realize, right? And I had to do the research on it. But when you really look at small and local businesses in our communities, they actually employ the most people.
Oh, yeah. Right? They drive the economy more so than major corporations. And most people, like you said, they really don't know that. Because there are so many across the country. So if you look at just your particular market and then multiply that by how many markets there are in the country, it's really important to keep these businesses alive. We have a similar campaign here in New Haven with Yale University to support locally. So, we truly believe that that's really important, and we're going to continue to go that. Yeah.
Right. Because community, you know what, there we go. We go back to what community is for people, certainly of radio, certainly, you and I, Darryl, we know that. That's what we're saying. We miss so much is that community connection and that community touch. And so the way we do that definitely was the small business spotlight.
Absolutely. And if you can't tell by the voice, we're talking to DeDe in the morning. It's a Sunday night, but we're doing a special edition of the Electric Drum celebrating 2 years in the New Haven, Connecticut market. And we're excited about the future. So hopefully, DeDe, at some point when it warms up and, the numbers will hopefully go down, because this Omicron variant is nothing to play with. As a matter of fact, the whole team got sick over the holidays.
Darryl, thanks. I was the super spreader. I did it.
I wasn't going to say that.
Let me tell you, this is the funny part about this. And I often tell people, you're very rare. I was very rarely at concerts. It was very rarely that it was going into big groups. Like if I was, I had I had a mask on and I just happened to be out or whatever. But in terms of a party, so this particular party I went to, and this is what I told people. I said, I had gone, I flew to Chicago. I flew to Charleston. I flew to Cancun and didn't get COVID for almost 2 years. Did not get COVID. Flying on the planes, right? I go to a party. The woman says, please be advised that this is vaccinated only. You should be fully vaccinated 2 weeks prior to the party. We will check for your vaccination card. We got there. They did. They took our temperature. They did everything right. That's where I got COVID.
Wow.
At that party. And it was the safest party I've ever been to since the pandemic. I've gone to different places, just restaurants, or I had a comedy show and I didn't go out front. I didn't mingle with anybody, just hosted a comedy show and left. And they said, you had to be vaccinated, but nobody checked. This was the first event that I've gone to since the pandemic where they checked for my vaccination card and everything. And that's where I got COVID.
It goes to show you that, you could be safe as can be and still get it. Just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, you have to maximize your precautions and your safety measures to reduce that risk. But, I'm glad. So the team is doing good.
Yeah, they all got it. Luckily, we were all vaccinated, you know, and I don't know where you are, everybody, on your, you know, in terms of your opinion and your fight on this. But what I do know is that I did get vaccinated. I had also gotten the booster.
Right.
But I had only gotten the booster maybe 2 days before I got COVID. But guess what, Darryl? I had really one bad day. I had one bad day when I got hit with COVID, and it was really almost a half a day. And I was fine. I bounced back. Thank God.
Well, I would like to say that that's because of the vaccine that you got, because it could have been a lot worse. And most people that are really being affected by Omicron on a serious level are the unvaccinated people. So, you know, if you're listening, take note to that.
Trust me, everybody on our staff was vaccinated, and luckily they got through this, you know, better than most. And we're thankful. Trust me, thankful.
Well, DeDe, we're glad to be celebrating 2 years with you. And we're looking for another 2 years and beyond. You know, the show every morning, people call in, they're laughing, they're, you know, joking, they're, you know, you put people in a good mood, and that's in the morning, especially, you know, haven't done mornings before, but just knowing radio, especially in the morning, because people are getting their day started. You know, you got to put people in a good mood to fight everything that they're about to fight every day, because every day we wake up, it's a battle. It's a blessing to wake up, but then the battle begins.
Well, you know what, Darryl, thank you for saying that. And I got to thank New Haven. I got to thank WYBC and everybody. And I really am serious about this. I have to thank you because of the way you embraced us. And I love it. I'm thankful. I'll forever be thankful for that. But what you said was true. What I also realized is, you know, once we got on in New Haven, we signed on 2-3 months later, this pandemic hit. But what else happened was this, you know, it was so much that was going on the first year, you know, in 2020, from George Floyd to the pandemic, you know, Donald Trump. Every day the news was so depressing and negative and sad. And I remember saying, you know what, we got to switch this, you know. People need hope. People need to laugh. We need to kick our days off with laughing. So if there are some people who say, well, they don't ever get too serious, we will. But I got to tell you, we had a whole year and a half of seriousness.
We did. And it's draining. And, you know, you talk about anxiety and stress, and especially mental health, which is being talked about a lot more today. You know, things like that participate or cause that, contribute to it. So, you know, we appreciate, you know, the effort and the work that you guys put in. I know, having been in radio, that is just not showing up and turning on the mic. There's a lot of background work that goes into preparing every day and doing it, you know, 5 days a week. And, you know, what's your schedule? What time do you get up every morning?
My schedule, I get up my clock goes off at 3:15 a.m. Yeah, I'm in the studio by 4:15. And you said something about mental health. You know, that's the other part of this too. And that's the other reason why I make sure that, you know, I want to put a smile on everyone's face. I want people to forget about their problems, you know, because I think that's what happens. Sometimes we can think about them so much that it starts to bog us down, and you got to let it go, you know. And, you know, we all were dealing with something. You know, I have a brother who suffers with a mental illness, and I looked at that and I thought, and it was weighing on me, right? Everything that was going on. But again, I just know that, hey, I just want to make everybody smile. I want everybody to feel good. Look at the bright side, stay positive. You know what I mean? That's important right now during this time.
Well, you're definitely doing a good job here in Connecticut, and I'm sure in every other market that you're in. How many markets are you up to now?
60 something, 64, 5. You know what, Darryl, now I got to be honest with you. I won't say I lost count. I don't keep up as much as, but what I am doing is just making sure that we can just provide a great show for everybody. I'm really serious. I just want us, I want us to be a really great show, and I want everyone to love it. I want to give them what they want and give the stations. That's my focus. You know what I mean? Like somebody said to me, are you enjoying it? And I said, well, yeah, but I'm also, I want to know, let me tell you how I enjoy it, is knowing that you guys enjoy it. Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a blessing to be able to do what we do, I think. And, you know, and have fun doing it.
Darryl, for as long as we've been doing it.
Well, right? I won't tell you how old I was when I got started, but yeah, absolutely. You know, we've been in the game for quite some time, but it's truly a blessing to be able to provide, you know, entertainment, laughter, and some good content and information to people on a daily basis. So
yeah, and thank you, Darryl. Let me just thank you for being a part of the team too. What are you talking about, Darryl? You are a part of the team.
I'm excited to be part of this team. Now, I've been part of a few teams in my journey in my career in radio, but you know, this is a unique situation, and I'm loving it, having fun. You know, I love getting up every day. You know, I left radio for a minute and, you know, kind of stumbled back into it. And now that, you know, we have this connection and this, chemistry in this kind of team effort
Yeah.
here in New Haven. I'm excited. So we're excited to have you. We're excited over the last 2 years, and more so excited for what the future beholds. And hopefully, I'm speaking it into existence.
Okay.
We're going to get you into the market sometime in
Yeah.
2022. 2-2. The deuce is the year that you come here.
All right. Well, now listen, I'm gonna make sure I'm jabbed up a little bit more, and I may have a mask on, but I'll be there.
That's okay. Well, look, fist bump.
Yeah, I can't be a super spreader again at the job. I mean, everybody at the job got it.
Absolutely. Well, we've been talking to DeDe McGuire, better known as DeDe In The Morning, on a special edition of the Electric Drum. Again, you can hear her Monday through Friday on 94.3 WYBC. DeDe, thank you so much for taking time on a Sunday night. I know you got to go to bed because we both have to get up early.
Yes, we do.
In the
Don't
morning.
be late, Darryl. Don't be late now.
I'm not going to be late. Tell the crew we said hello and stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you, Darryl.
All right. It's the Electric Drum on 94.3 WYBC.